It's the Real Estate Podcast, brought to you by ANZ Home Loans for financial well-beings.
Yes, it's the Real Estate Breakfast for another weekend. Week went by pretty fast. Gotta love the short working week. Has it been a productive week for you though? Maybe frustrating and stressful if you have missed out on a property transaction or deal. The good thing about the weekend is the reset button. Yes, like a day from hell, all you do is you go to sleep overnight, wake up and feel refreshed to attack a new day. So good luck this weekend if you are searching properties across Australia, wherever you might be, as we break down the Australian property market for you. And got another busy Saturday morning property show coming up, understanding the Australian property market. It starts right here. It is a Saturday, June the 13th, and we've got Rebecca joining us, who is in Dubai, but she is from Australia and splits her time between the two countries. You know, there's a lot of Aussies that are doing this. Catching these flights, they can fly in for a couple of months and then fly back to Australia. So we're going to break this down and welcome Rebecca to the Real Estate Breakfast. You were telling me that you've been a listener for a while.
Yes, I've been listening to you guys for a couple of years and you've guided me here pretty much and I've enjoyed it and here I am now.
How long have you been in Dubai?
We're in and out quite frequently. This is my third trip this year and I've been backwards and forwards for the past couple of years extensively, but I've been coming through Dubai for 20 years, so I've seen it grow.
Now, a lot of people first look at Dubai because of property, tax advantages or career opportunities, but many end up staying for completely different reasons. The lifestyle, convenience, we've got the safety and the international environment. It seems to change people's perspectives. What surprised you the most about living between Australia and Dubai, and why do you think so many people end up staying longer than they originally planned?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, first of all, the connectivity, like you're very close to the rest of the world. You're right in the middle of the world. So you've got that connectivity. Even under the circumstances now, the safety is one of the most safest cities in the world. Even with all this going on, it's the acceptance. I've got a young daughter as well. So I find like the safety is foremost, but the cleanliness. We forget to mention how clean this country is as well, in this city. I think you've got more than 200 nationalities in here living harmoniously. The generosity of this city. I mean, I can speak only highly of this from what I've seen and what I've experienced personally as a woman, as a mother, and experienced good things on many levels. You've got the financial level. So there's lots of things to do here, lots of opportunities for work, lifestyle, family.
Yeah, in Australia and Dubai, they're often compared by investors, yet they operate, don't they, in very different ways. One market is heavily influenced by limited housing supply and regulation. Of course, we're talking about Australia, while the other is driven by rapid development, global capital and ambitious growth plans. So when you compare the two, Rebecca, those two markets of Australia and Dubai, what do you see as the biggest differences that investors often perhaps overlook even?
Yeah, well, stepping out, like looking at it from a big picture, Australia and Dubai, you can compare them, but only to a certain extent, because you've got to look at Dubai is ran like a business. So they're looking for expansion, they're looking for the future, they're looking for growth. Whereas in Australia, it's run with a government, and then with the taxes, they need like input from people to implement their growth. Whereas Dubai, the UAE, they don't rely on people's income for taxes to grow a city.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that I think from an investor point of view, I think the speed of how things move here in Dubai has got to be a big change between Australia and the UAE. I mean, as Rebecca says, they don't wait for income coming in via taxes. They join together, they make these meetings, everything is for the betterment of the whole system here. But if they see something wrong, they actually go and move to change it very quickly. The ease of doing business also is very, very quick. quick. So I think the investor, when he finally pulls the trigger on buying a property, I think will actually be impressed as to how the flow of money from the return on investment for the capital appreciation gets back to them. So the speed of everything, I think, should be something that other investors should look at.
Yes, thank you for that, Mario. And moving countries is really just a financial decision. You know, families think about schools, they think about healthcare, safety, lifestyle, and whether or not they can genuinely build a future somewhere new. Rebecca, having spent significant time in both countries, what do you think Australians are most curious about when considering to move to Dubai and, in fact, maybe buy real estate in Dubai?
Yeah, I think it comes down to not only financial, like it's not just about the money. They want to have a look at like fitting into a country as well and the ease of it. The financial system, of course, very important, but the schooling, everything revolves around our children. So you want to have that, the schooling systems, and Dubai is focusing on having some of the best education in the world here. I know when I looked at schools for my daughter, they've got every single curriculum. So you're looking at the British curriculum, the American curriculum. There's a beautiful Swedish school where they've taught 4 different languages. The opportunities are here, not only for the education, you've got the healthcare. I had my daughter fall ill on our last trip. We were in and out of the hospital and back in our hotel with less than an hour. You go into the emergency system in Australia, it's vastly different. You'll be there all night. So little things like this where, you know, your kids do get sick and you can be back home after the emergency department less than an hour with your medicine. Like these things are appreciated in a foreign country, you know, with no health insurance, and you're paying, I think it was a few hundred US dollars that cost us. Like these little things matter a lot. So you're looking at the education, the health system, and the ease, the functionality, the safety, the cleanliness, and I can only tick all these boxes.
As somebody that is in and out all the time, you're going back to Australia. What are your friends making of your situation? Are they saying, oh, gee, this sounds pretty good to me, I might look at moving? Maybe this is a pre-Iran conflict, but what have some of those comments been?
It's a very interesting time. Like they see me as soon as I touch down in Australia. In the next 6 weeks, I'm gone again. And I've had some of my friends actually follow me. And they've beat me. They've set up faster than me. It's really good because they see the enthusiasm and they see the possibilities. And I've had friends actually purchase the same properties that I've purchased and the same areas, and even with the networking and the people you know. So yeah, my friends are actually following me, and then they'll come and ask for advice. And we're like a group and we're all moving together. And then you've got the questions with the banking system and the sending the money. So we're all doing this organically together. But yeah, there's always questions coming up, curiosity, especially with this geopolitical thing that was happening. And I'll have my friends go, are you safe? Do you have food? And, you know, I'm like, yeah, are you safe? You know, and especially to be here in this time, because you see the crap the media is posting. And another story I'll tell you, my daughter and I were in the airport leaving Dubai, coming back into Sydney last time, and I'm watching the news in Australia, and it had breaking news, cancellation flights, and they had showing previous footage of some bombs and things. And I'm like, I showed my daughter, I go, Sophia, did you notice anything different this morning about checking into the airport? She's like, no. And I said, this is what they're showing. So it's a lot to do with the media. I like that I was here firsthand, that I can experience it and just see for yourself that you've got to make up your own mind and keep a broader perspective.
Yeah, so that is interesting because you are somewhat of a ringleader there, Rebecca. People have followed you, bought into the same complex apartment buildings by the sound of things. It's always interesting, isn't it, Mario? One person goes, the other follows, and then another follows. And I think that is very much the story of Dubai, the way that it has grown over the years.
Yeah, because, I mean, I do see a lot of jealousy, especially in the British press. And it's interesting to see that actually the Australian press is probably no different. But when people do come over and see things firsthand themselves, it's important to tell the true picture. I remember doing many, many webinars over the course of the last 100 days, trying to explain to the countries that I was speaking to exactly what was going on, because literally they're being fed a load of nonsense. Even myself, when I went to the UK, they were saying, are you mad? Are you going back there? Why are you going back? Are you safe? The reality is that it's nothing like it's being portrayed. So I'm really happy that Rebecca is sort of this forerunner, if you like, coming here, investing here, and then talking about it. And of course, success breeds success. When people are seeing that she's happy, that her family are all safe, they're wanting a piece of the action. So more muscle to her.
Yeah, good points. And Dubai often gets portrayed very differently depending on who you talk to. And you've raised that question in terms of some of the media comments that you've heard and seen. Some people still have perceptions formed years ago, though, while others describe Dubai, the UAE, as a modern, safe and highly connected city. Rebecca, as a woman spending time in both Australia and Dubai, how would you describe the reality versus the perception between the two countries? What do you think?
Oh, look, it's absolute gold. I can only speak highly. And as a woman, I got my driver's license. It's just the respect. It's the pure respect. Sometimes I'll get into a lift and the man will just let you go into the lift on your own. For example, I drove and got my driver's license. I've never seen female parking. It's these little things. As a woman, there's the freedom here and there's the respect. This is a place where I'm more than comfortable to have my daughter exposed and to bring her up in an environment like this.
And on a final note, somebody that is outside of the UAE, they could be in Australia, they could be in the UK, they could be in the US. Of course, our listeners are far and wide. They were on the cusp of moving into the UAE before the Iran conflict broke out. What would you say to these people that are listening to you this morning?
Yeah, look, I can only speak from my personal experience, and this is a very good opportunity. Like, the world and the eyes are on the UAE now to see how they would perform under this political pressure. But they've had things happen before, and if they were on at the cusp, I wouldn't flinch, to be honest, because what you're seeing now and the opportunities, I think it's only going to go from strength to strength. Yeah, there's a hesitation, but I only see good things. I only see higher things, and I see even for my friends signing their SPAs and things during the conflict. You sit tight, but there's a lot of movement here, and especially being in Dubai now, I attended some launches. You can't move. It took us an hour to get into the event. Like, there's so much action. It's only going to go onwards and upwards, strength to strength.
All right. Well, we will leave you on that very positive note. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. And as somebody that has been listening for a few years, thank you for that. And enjoy the rest of your stay before you head back to Australia.
Thanks, Craig. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You're listening to the Saturday Property Market Update.
Because one thing that has come through from a couple of people we've spoken about, they have been engaging with buyers' agents.
I think the reason a lot of those first home buyers have been targeting the unit market in Brisbane is based on affordability once again. So right now, the median value for a unit across all of Greater Brisbane is sitting at just over $884,000. In the last month, we saw the unit market here in Brisbane appreciate 1.3%.
One of the driving things with those announcements is around first home buyers not competing against the investors.
I think it's actually a great time for first home buyers to be getting into the market, especially here in Brisbane, whilst that investor competition is sitting on the sidelines. Many first home buyers are becoming quite nervous about buying into a market where there's the potential of price falls.
We connect you to the best real estate information across Australia. The Real Estate Podcast.